mean, you have shorter hair than I thought you'd have.
Yeah, well, I got a haircut not too long ago. It was getting a little long there, so and
Nice done.
I cannot deal with like I have pretty thick hair, so like when it gets long, like it just kind of like bushes.
Dude,
And
I'm the same way. It's fluff ball.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so it just like bushes in this, but not like a cool in like a cool way. It's just like a really ugly moppish way. And so
Dude, I seriously, we have the same hair. I always ask the sports clips hairstylist to use the thinners.
oh
They
yeah,
have thinning shears that can like it's ask them to do that. That really helps out.
okay.
The
I'll have to
thinning
keep that in
shears.
mind. So this is what I'm thinking. Let's have you set the stage and just briefly talk about who you are and who you work for and your role there. And then
You want me to go my background at all as well?
yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
And then talk about, as far as when you get into who you work for, like who you sell to and what you sell, just so that there's the context of, who your ideal customer is and who you're trying to, target. And then you can jump straight into like the case study and what you and your team did. And then I'm thinking I'll probably interrupt you as we go along because I'll have a
Yeah.
bunch of questions and we'll just kind of go.
I'll try to give little spots for you to jump in.
So, okay. So take it away. Tell us a little bit. Let's set the stage for us.
Sure. So my name is Talmage Egan. I am the demand generation manager at OC Tanner. We are a B2B organization. We sell service awards and employee recognition to HR is our buyer persona. So the HR professionals will come to us to look for a way to keep their employees happy, to keep them engaged, to reduce attrition and retain their employees. And so we make really cool custom awards that they have when they're there for 5 years. They get a cool symbol to put on their desk, but there's also a day-to-day peer-to-peer recognition that if you help me on a project, I send you 50 points and you can go cash in a gift card for $50. It's a fun industry to be in. You feel like you're making the workplace a better place to be. But my background, I've been at an agency. I've been in-house a couple times with some smaller companies. I really found a love for SEO early on. And so that's always kind of been, it's been something I've had to purposely get away from because I know that I tend to always go back to SEO because it's what I cut my teeth on. It's what I originally really loved. Things got really serious in SEO for me when I managed a Fortune 500 client at my agency. It was a Avis budget. So the Avis car rental, budget truck rental. They had thousands of locations. It was a huge contract. We had to travel back to the East Coast every quarter to give quarterly business reviews. That just where it just forced the rubber to meet the road, and I had to prove so strongly the value of what we were doing from an SEO perspective. Because sometimes SEO can be viewed as a black box, as a what's the magic potion, what's the formula.
Yeah, there's a lot of metrics that you can push out that are like, yeah, I'm really doing good work, but you might actually not, right? Like there's kind of some vanity metrics you can hide behind.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we had to prove revenue. So that really helped. And that helped me get to where I am now with OC Tanner. We are about 500 million in annual revenue. And we're growing.
Nice. Okay. So, the work that you were doing as far as, I think the case that you mentioned was around like SEO and search, right? So let's jump into that. How did you figure out there was like a big gap, right? So I think how did you figure out like there was work that really needed to be done maybe in this specific case?
Sure. So one of the first things I did when I started OC Tanner, I did a site audit where I look at, there are tons of templates for site audits. When you do it, when you've done enough of them, you know what to look for. But I did a site audit to see how much traffic are we getting? What kind of search, what kind of keyword rankings do we have? What's our site speed like? What web pages get the most traffic, et cetera. And then I looked at a lot of competitors to see what kind of traffic they're getting. And I identified SEO as a low-hanging fruit opportunity because we had just gone through a site migration where we'd done a facelift on the site. We reskinned it, sunsetted a lot of content, and that hurt our traffic. But and I came in after that, so I wish I was there during the migration because I felt like I could have mitigated some of that. But
was the sunsetting like a deliberate choice of those that were like switching the site over, like that was, or was that just kind of like a happenstance? Oh, we forgot about that content.
It was deliberate. Yeah, we sunsetted the blog. A lot of it was kind of old content. Some of it was guest blog posts, and they wanted to kind of hit a reset button a little bit on the brand and have a little bit more control over what was out there on our website, which made a lot of sense. And a lot of honestly, looking at what we had lost, we didn't lose much of relevant stuff. It was a lot of irrelevant traffic we were getting. But after I identified, okay, we're not getting a ton of traffic for SEO right now from the organic. Went through and met with stakeholders and understood if we could rank for 3 keywords, what would they be? Things like employee recognition software, employee recognition programs, service awards, things that we have done for 90 years that we didn't rank for. And so identified those as our focus terms. Identified over 1,000 terms that these are relevant terms that we can make content for, but I narrowed those down to a few that I was really going to go hard after. And so first I started with. And
do you have like a team under you? Like how many people do you have working with you on that?
Yeah. So I have a digital marketing specialist. I have a marketing automation specialist, designers. So we have a good team. This was when I started though 2 years ago. I didn't have any of that. So now things have changed. I have a stronger team now. But then this was me and the creative team really working together. We had a lot of good things going for us on our website as well. It wasn't all bad. Our website's over 20 years old. And if you know SEO, that means we have authority. We have strong historical backlinks. So we had good things. We just needed to really focus it and direct it in the right way. So first thing I started with is get baselines, right? If I'm going to make a big effort, I want to be able to prove that we've made an impact. I decided to use Google Search Console as my source of truth. In addition with Google Analytics, but Google Search Console is great because you can see the keywords that are actually driving the traffic. I wanted to know, are we getting relevant traffic? I don't care about quantity. I want quality to begin with. And I used what's it called? Google Data Studio. Awesome reporting tool, Google Data Studio. And that can pull in Google Search Console information, and I segmented the keywords. So I wanted to see how much branded traffic are we getting? When people type in an OC Tanner, how much non-branded? And that was really enlightening because when I looked at that, we were getting about 5,000 ratios. We were getting like 5 times more branded traffic than we were non-branded. We were really low on our non-branded search.
And did you have like a ratio that you were thinking of that would be like a better hit for you? Like what's your ideal?
Yeah, I mean, I would have, from working on a lot of different brands, I worked on the Workfront, Domo. I would have expected a lot more non-branded. Typically, non-branded should outweigh the branded search, unless you're Nike, maybe, Yeah. then maybe you're getting way more branded. So that was a big tell for me to where I needed to focus. And yeah, it was a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 1 non-branded traffic we were getting 5 people typing in OC Tanner customer service.
Yeah, so essentially, like as a baseline target, almost you're talking about at least to get it even, you'd have to 4x your non-branded traffic to even get.
Yeah, exactly.
Steep hill to climb.
Yeah. So, and again, we had some good things going for us, so I felt confident that if we gave Google the right stuff, we would be okay. So, started by hiring an agency as well to help me because I was running on a small team then. Hired an agency, Big Leap, their local agency here to help me. Use them to create content and most importantly, backlinks. Backlinks, there's a lot of ways to do it, and there's black hat ways and white hat ways. If you want to get in trouble, you'll do the black hat ways. If you want to do things right, you go the white hat ways. And Big Leap has a very good backlinking practice. Very white hat. It's more, I view it almost as just promotion. They're going to promote your content, and they're going to get third-party websites to mention it.
So did you feel like you already had the content to win on the non-branded space? You just had to like get the credibility from the stuff like links?
Not quite. So our creative team was very strong. They're good writers. They know their research. We have again, this is an SEO's dream. We have a whole research team that's pumping out original statistics, and they're doing studies. So we had awesome content, but again, it wasn't similar to our website where we had all this authority. It just wasn't focused in the right direction. So I met with the creative team and pulled back the curtain a little bit on what's important for SEO. Like, look, if we want to rank for employee recognition, we at least have to say employee recognition a couple times on the page. I pulled up our main employee recognition web page, and we didn't say employee recognition one time. We said it in a lot of other creative ways, but we didn't say the actual keyword that we need to do. So some of it was very simple. And then I would go to a competitor website and be like, look, they're saying it 27 times. I'm not condoning keyword stuffing here, but we do need to use the keyword that we want to rank for. So that was a learning process for them. Showed them our process. I started providing them briefs. So I'd provide them with a brief that would tell them, here's our keyword. Here's our related keywords that we want to go for, because Google needs related keywords. Just like a great example is a wedding band. If you're typing in wedding band on Google, you could get a band that plays at weddings, plays music, or you could get the wedding band that goes on your finger.
Yep.
Google's a machine. It's going to use related keywords to understand your context. So if you have gold, diamonds in your search, you're probably looking for a wedding band that goes on your finger. If you have music, bass, drums, you're looking for a wedding band. So there's a way you can game the system a little bit by looking at what are those related terms. And a lot of tools will give you this. I use SEMrush. There's a great tool called Ryte.com, RYTE.com. Proof terms, people call them proof terms, related keywords, semantically related keywords. Those are a big deal. I'd also provide them in this brief commonly asked questions, FAQs. Google's big on those. Answer boxes, when you type in a question and there's a big answer box at the top of Google, a knowledge box with a paragraph and a big image.
Yep.
We wanted to capture those. So, and then we go for a target length. Look, the 10 articles that are ranking in the top 10 for this, they're all 1,000 plus word count. We need to hit that or exceed that. So once the writers had that information, I let them go, and we started creating these comprehensive long form articles. I'd get them over to our agency. They'd help promote them. We'd use our own. We write on Forbes every month. I used our own. Their backlinking augmented our own. I used a lot of our own resources to get backlinks going. Definitely did several technical SEO fixes. We weren't doing a lot of internal linking. When you publish a new article, a new blog post, you're going to want to look through your site and see how many places can I link to this from our own website. A good ratio is you go 5 external links and 10 internal links. That was always kind of what I lived by. It's not
It's not the
exact.
end all be all, but it's a good framework to start.
Yeah, you can at least get that. You know that your content's can be found by Google.
Yeah.
But then we saw some really good results after a year. Took a year. I mean, it takes time. It takes time to get this content up. It takes months to get it to rank, to get the backlinks. But now I'm 2 years in, and we have flipped that ratio big time for our non-branded searches. We're getting now almost 3 times the traffic non-branded than we are getting branded. So we switched it 3 to 1. Took a lot of time. Took a lot of focus on what we targeted. A lot of content, a lot of small pieces as well. We did a lot of comprehensive ones, but we also kind of tried to do this hub and spoke model where you'd have a big, you have your big pillar piece, but then you have your big main piece. Then you have these pillars that support it. And it's been great. We're receiving record traffic, higher traffic than our website has ever received in the history of our 90-year company. And most of that can be attributed to what we've done for organic search.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that really stood out to me as you went through that process was that you had a research team that essentially fed you the content that you needed to build that, right? Like I think in some of the work so when I was working at Franklin Covey, we were on like the education side of the house. And so we were selling to schools, and one of the we had a blog that we'd feed once a week, but the problem was it was one thing for like as a marketer or someone on the marketing team to write a piece of marketing content for educators, and it was something totally different from getting like an educator to write the piece. Mm-hmm. And then, we can massage it to do like what you said to make it more, SEO friendly and helpful and then put that out. Like, and I think that's one of the things that I think a lot of marketers might run into it probably happens a lot in the SaaS space. Quite honestly, like a lot of marketers, we don't have expertise in like the businesses that we're selling, right?
For sure.
So getting content from people that do, and then you can manipulate it to do what you need to do.
Honestly, it was a big reason I took the job. When I heard that there was, they had SEO problems, but they had an in-house research team creating original statistics and content, doing surveys, because that's gold. Because you want that quality content that actually is providing value. Because there's a lot of fluff out there. I think there's there's billions of new blog posts published every day or month or something like that. No, you make a good point that quality was a big thing for us. And because Google also looks at things like dwell time, right? How long are people spending on the page? And if they're actually consuming the content, it's going to give us a bump. And that definitely contributed to the success, if not a leading factor in it.
Yeah. How much content do you get from that research team? Like how often, how do they get it to you? Like what sort of stuff do you get from them?
So they do a yearly global culture report, which is their main project of distinction for the year. They focus on this. It's a 200-page or more report on. They survey 20 to 30,000 employees across the globe, how they're doing in the workplace. Are they burnt out? Are they feeling the opportunity they need? What are the trends? So they provide this awesome research, and then we just delve into it. We break it out into smaller hit pieces. We relate that to our products. So that's their main. They do some monthly ones as well, but the big yearly one is what once they deliver it, we break into it all year until the next year.
Yeah. Well, 200 pages, you could take that and that's a ton of content.
And there's a lot of stats that don't make it into the report that we also can leverage. So it's it's a benefit of working for a really big company. So I feel bad. I know that I've been in the small business, a lot of small companies as well. And I know that I'm spoiled with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. The research is huge. All right. Is there anything that, like, looking back, it seems pretty successful, but like if there was one thing you could have added to the mix as you went along, is there anything that you'd add?
Yeah, the hardest part that I never really was able to solve the way I'd like to is the technical fixes on the website. And I think that's a problem that a lot of SEOs will face is we need our site speed is just still terrible. And I know we'd have so many more content pieces ranking if our website would just load a little faster.
Right.
And our web marketing manager understands that, they're dealing with their budgets and they're trying to meet the needs of a lot of people. So we worked on there's some easy fixes like the sitemap that wasn't being leveraged properly. Internal links, some on-page SEO like metadata that needs to be updated. But the big ones are how do we get our website, our user experience really awesome and loading quickly. Loading quickly that's the one that always comes to mind because that one is just so hard to do. So that's the one looking back on. I'd also maybe put a warning out there to be careful what you publish. Because we had one piece that started getting, I thought it was going to be like, okay, this is a cute piece. It's going to get, 500, 1,000 hits a month, but it ended up getting way more than that. and it was like, this maybe wasn't the piece that I wanted to be our hallmark piece, our flagship piece that everybody's going to see as our brand. And so make sure everything goes through the proper channels and is on brand. But I went through and again in Google Search Console, this is awesome. I segmented all of our keyword buckets. So like recognition, service awards, culture, and you can trend those out, how you're getting. So it's not just one particular keyword like employee recognition programs, because that has a set search volume. I was looking for all the different long tail terms that they were typing in, and you can trend that and see how are we really doing. It's my favorite dashboard. Very proud of it.
Awesome. Yeah, it really seems too, like as you talk through like the use case, some of the whether it's like SEO, content, social, networking, email, automation, like having the discipline to stick to like basic stuff differentiates a lot of people. And then you'll get those one-off pieces that just like soar, whether I guess you really want them to soar as much as you do or not, but like sticking to the process is a big differentiator because I think people give up on the process really quick. And then that's what, innovative things happen. You're talking about this is a case study of like 2+ years. It's not like some campaign that you just threw together in like a 3-week period and it just took off. It's like a big long-term effort.
It's funny to think about it when looking back, every piece that was published early on, I'd watched it so closely. Every day I was seeing like, is it moving up the ranks? Like, are we doing the right thing? But now it's much more, I check it quarterly. I check it monthly to see, how are we looking? Cause it's where, the algorithm's correct. We're working, we're doing what we need to do and the engine's moving. Everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that there's a lot of awesome lessons to take out of that. So I think the big ones for me is it helps a ton to have, experts feeding you content that you can, deliver in a digestible way. Sticking to like just a process that works. I think the innovation comes in through the patience in that, as opposed to trying to get, quick wins. And I think there's a lot that I think, especially in a world as fast as we want to live, I think those are some good lessons to take to actually drive, revenue. So
for sure. One thing I'd add there that I think is a big secret to the success is get buy-in, get people to understand and get on the same page. Before I really started implementing a lot of things, I did PowerPoint presentations with the creative team, with the leadership team, showing them how well our competitors are doing versus us. It really gives you the momentum to get done when you need to. And and pull back the curtain, you know, make it not this secret process. Show them what needs to be done, explain it in a way that, because SEO has some stigmas with it, that keyword stuffing, and we want to create content that's good. We don't want to just push out fluff.
Yeah.
And we had to bridge that a little bit and say, look, Google wants good content. It's going to promote good content. So we need to create the best content out there, but we got to do it within these boundaries a little bit. We need to use the keywords we need to do the right length. We need to play the game a little bit. And once we married those things together, yeah, it was a recipe for success. But yeah, getting the buy-in was, if I wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that was one of the things we struggled with actually in my last job, was certainly getting buy-in. So that, I think that could probably be a case study in of itself. I might hit you up and
Sure, yeah.
in a few weeks, and maybe we'll talk through that specific bit, because I think that's something that maybe a lot of marketers struggle with, is presenting information in the correct way to management groups that either help them get the budget that they need to pursue the tactics that'll work, or even tackle it in the first place.
For sure.
So
some of the research I showed them, I actually sent that over to you. This got them on the board, on the boat quick. I shared the stat that 71% of buyers said they conducted anonymous research during the first 3 months. These are B2B buyers. 71% are anonymously researching their topic. And I showed them, look, if they're looking for employee recognition, we're not showing up right now. And they're doing this for 3 months, getting their short list of who they want to go to RFP with. And if we're not there, they're never going to find us. We're never even going to know they didn't find us, because we're never going to hear about them. Another one is, on average, B2B researchers do 12 searches prior to engaging on a specific brand site. That's from Think with Google. And I thought about my own researching habits. It's true. You do a lot of, when you're looking at a new space and you're trying to understand what software you need, what solution you need, you're doing a lot of searches. And if you see the same brand showing up in a couple of those places, you get a sense for who you need to go with. And the final stat was that 61% of B2B buyers, the overwhelming majority, started their buying process with a web search. They just get in Google and they search it. Those stats really helped me, and it took me a day to put those together. So I think that can be helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. The power of brand. It seems like fluff when you were first talking about it, especially with management. But man, it can cut through so much of the noise, and it's like such a huge part of the buying process is just establishing that awareness and trust. So awesome.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, man. It's been a really good conversation. I think there's a lot to learn. Hopefully people have enjoyed it.